Good day, everyone. Welcome to our virtual discussion for English for Academic Professional Purposes, Module 5, entitled Writing a Research Report. This module will help us learn how to gather data, organize it, and write it properly in a research report, just like what real researchers do.
Research report may sound difficult, but it's really learning about how to communicate information clearly and truthfully.
After completing this module, you should be able to first, make your own survey questionnaire, a tool used to gather answers from people. Second, present the results through graphs, tables, and written explanations. And third, write a complete research report, which is a formal paper showing everything you discovered.
Always remember, research writing is not just copying and pasting from sources. It's about finding accurate information, understanding it, and writing it in your own words to show your learning.
In research, the word data simply means information or facts that you collect to answer your research questions. Without data, a research paper is like a story with no evidence. It becomes unreliable.
There are two main types of data source that researchers use, primary and secondary source. Let us understand them one by one.
First is the primary resources. These are original information gathered firsthand by the researcher. It means you personally collect the data yourself, not from books or the internet, but directly from people or events. Example of primary sources include survey, when you ask people questions and record their answers. Interview, when you talk directly to someone and get their opinions. Observations, when you watch or observe situation to gather information.
For example, if I interview students about their study habits, that's a primary source because I gathered that information directly from them. Primary sources are authentic and reliable because they come straight from the original experience. These are not original. They are based on or analyzed primary sources. They are written or created after the event. Researchers use this to understand or support ideas with existing knowledge. There are 7 types or examples of secondary sources. First is the biography. It is written by someone else about person's life. Example, a book about Jose Rizal written by an historian. Next, commentaries, discussions or opinions about someone or something. For example, a critic's review of movie or book. Next is encyclopedia, collections of facts about many subjects. Example, Wikipedia. Next is journals. It is a collection of academic articles written by experts. Example, a scientific journal with published studies. Next is reports, an organized summary about events or data. For example, a company's annual report or a school research report. Next is theses and dissertations, academic research papers done by students for their degree. The thesis is for master's degree while dissertations for doctorate degree. And lastly, the textbooks. Books that compile and explain information about a topic. For example, your IFAP book or its science textbook.
To make it simple, primary data give new and direct information from real people or event. Secondary data helps support and explain your finding using existing studies. When you combine both, your research becomes stronger and more credible.
Now that we understand how to gather a data, let's talk about how to organize it into a proper research report. A research report is a format that presents your entire study from how you collected data, what you found out, and what those findings mean.
First is the
is the abstract. An abstract is a short summary of your entire research. It's usually around 150 to 250 words. It explains the purpose of your study, how you did it, what your result you got, and your main conclusion. It's helped the reader quickly understand what your research is all about without reading the whole paper.
Introduction. This is where you introduce your topic and explain why it is important. You discuss the background of the problem, what has been studied before, and what you want to find out. It also includes your statement of the problem and specific questions your research wants to answer.
Related literature it asks called RRL, where you summarize other studies and information that are connected to your topic. It shows that you have read and understood existing research before doing your own.
Then we have the methodology section. These parts explain how you did your research, like who were your respondents were, what tools you used. It's either survey, observation, or interview, and how you gathered and analyzed your data.
After that comes the result and discussion. This is where you present your findings, discipline using graphs, charts, or tables, and explain what they mean. Here, you interpret your data and connect it back to your research questions.
Finally, the conclusion and recommendations. The conclusion summarizes the most important points from your research, and the recommendation gives suggestions for improvement or future studies.
To sum it up, writing a research report helps us become critical thinkers and responsible learners.
Always remember, the success of your research depends on the quality of your data and how well you explain it.
Be truthful, be accurate, and give credit to your sources.
Because research is not just about writing, it's about contributing knowledge.